Hey folks, it's Matt once again. Just doing something random, which is what I wanted to do. Um, and that is, I touched on this when I did my vlog, but I figured I'd do a little bit further review because I think it's a really good one. And thanks to my one of my best friends out there, Efree, he got me this, and that is rewind this. And for that cover is great. Yeah, Bubba Smith. This is from Deadly Prey. This is from another movie. Rewind This is a documentary on the VHS boom, the beginning and the ending of it. Direct to video madness, VHS versus beta, an exploding industry without rules. If you're at all a fan of films, fuck. Oh, I don't want to do that on a shitty movie. If you're a fan of films, you need to get this right off the bat. Even if you have VHS, I'm not sure. It's still a fascinating document on. It's a love letter. It has a mix of VHS collectors as well as people in the industry like Frank Henenlotter, like Charles Band, like Lloyd Kaufman, Cassandra Peterson, aka Elvira, looking normal and to be honest, more beautiful than as a. She looks hot as Elvira, but here when looking normal, she looks more beautiful. I'm like, wow, how old is she? She still looks beautiful and more beautiful without the makeup. But rewind this. It's 90 minutes, but it's still a really interesting documentary on the VHS, how it got started, uh, what people's thoughts are, what they were when it first came out, how it became a success, how studios I sure wasn't really sure because their movies are being distributed without them really having too much control in the beginning. They said, well, wait a minute, they could tape this and then another person could have it, another person could have it. Fred Henenlotter, he tells a story about how VHS tapes used to be $90, but he was one of the first, if not the first, to be like, hey, wait a minute, put my movie down basket case to $20 because people can't afford 40, $50, but $20, call it a sell through, and it made him so much money. He actually got like a down payment on his apartment, like to actually buy it to own it. And it touches on a lot of interesting stuff. Uh, the war between it and Betamax. How, if you really look at it, Betamax had a better picture quality, but VHS could fit more on there, especially when you tape stuff. Like when you taped stuff, because that was a. I mean, this is back to, of course, way before stuff of today. I know no shit, but back in the day, it's like, well, maybe there's a TV show that I want to watch. Maybe there's this I want to watch. I'll never watch it again. Oh, but you could tape it. And, I could tape more stuff. And that was, I guess, one of the reasons why VHS won over Betamax. I thought it was strictly because of, whoever can get the porn would win. And someone actually says that too. But I guess another big factor was that VHS, you could record more hours on a VHS tape, and also I think VHS was cheaper than Betamax, so that kind of helped with VHS winning. And the editing is really well done. It's mixed in with, you have footage from stuff that's only on VHS. Like you have Rolling Vengeance. I was surprised as shit. Like, holy shit, Rolling Vengeance. They have a VHS guy who owns a copy of Rolling Vengeance, and they show footage of Rolling Vengeance. Wow. Uh, Bubba Smith from the Police Academy, he did a workout video called Until It Hurts. And Bubba Smith, during this, actually, on the video tape, says, I love you. Now, just get ready to work out until it hurts. Of course, there's some jokes made about that. There's video footage of other films as well, like Leslie Nielsen, his bad golf thing, tape that he had, among others. So you have those mixed in with seeing like old commercials of VCRs. Hey, get this VCR. Including like the John Cleese when he's like, "It's so easy, a cat could do it." Because that was a big thing of being able to program your VCR to record something so you can watch it anytime you wanted to. And of course, they even touch on the adult industry. And yes, there's nudity. You see tits from old porn ones, and about how instead of going to a theater, you can see it in your own home and do your thing, cuz. And it also touches on what I liked is that they don't just it's not it sort of is a love letter. It's not extremely condescending to VHS. You still get a lot of love of VHS. And you see both sides of the argument. I mean, it even goes up to today where you have people who the whole time I'm watching this, I'm like, man, they for the makers of this film. First, I want to applaud them, Josh Johnson, Carolee Mitchell, Christopher Palmer, Josh Frieda. Thought he did a good job with the music. First off, great job. Second off, you should have gotten my friend Mike, OCP Communications, on here on YouTube. My friend Mike. Of all the guys I know, he's the biggest lover of VHS, and I guarantee you, he has a VHS collection that blows a lot of these guys away. especially, he has like 2 locations for VHS tapes, and just one of them will blow them away, and then both of them together, wow, you got a VHS store. But it was just really interesting to watch, and like I was saying, you also even get to see some video stores that are still there. I mean, that are still out there today, which I'm like, wow, I wish I could go to these. I wish I could go to these front and center. And they also talk about how Blockbuster came in and how, the name fits. All you would see is Blockbusters on there. They talk about how the first shot on video film and how, wait a minute, we could shoot this on video. And wait a minute, another thing with VHS, you could shoot your own home movies. And imagine that. You can make your own films when you were a kid. And they talked to the guy who was making like a home version of Raiders of the Lost Ark, his own little remake of it. Even to today, where, like I said, about how people collect VHS tapes and about how it's going the way of digital, and how some people say, yeah, I mean, no matter how you look at it, it is going to go digital. There is, and studios want that because if you just go digital, what do studios save? Studios saves on making plastic. Studios save on making paper. Studios saves on making special features. Studios don't have to get interviews. They don't have to get any of these special features. They don't have to get people in, because if it's just digital, you're just watching it. You don't have to print the actual disc, which the DVD's still in there. You don't have to do any of that. So that's why studios are really in favor of it, because look how much cost we can save. We don't have to worry about special features and printing all sorts of physical product. We can just, boom, there it is. And how some people are for that, but it also shows the other side, how some people are against that. And I like that. I like that they touched on that. I like that, you also have some people who's like, well, wait a minute. At the same time, I agree with this one guy said, you're not really buying it. You're renting it. Because you do have some service, and then all of a sudden they'll take that movie out. Or they'll take that whatever out. Let's say you really like a movie, it's like, oh, I'm in the service, I really like this movie, and boom, they take the movie out. I mean, maybe the best way to do this if you download it, but then who knows if they let you do that legally? And even so, what if your computer fucks up? Then you'll lose it unless you put it on a DVD R, which is not really supposed to be legal, but in the legal way, I mean, I don't know, just Really interesting stuff in there. And it's 90 minutes, goes on a brisk pace. Uh, some stuff. Like, you have this older guy, this like 60-year-old guy who still sells stuff, although pretty expensive, like $9 for a videotape. And he's like, "Well, I'm this is just for people who really are looking for VHS tapes." And I'm like, "Well, dude, I understand it, but you're not going to sell these for $10." But maybe he is. God bless him. You have a fan of VHS tapes. So this guy has the best attic ever. Like, his attic is just wonderfully done, filled with horror film VHS tapes and all sorts of other posters and decorations. I just thought this guy has the best fucking attic in the whole country, in the whole world. That's the best attic. And he even has a tattoo of a VHS tape. That's pretty hardcore there. I don't think my friend Mike would have a tattoo of a VHS tape. You never know, maybe a small one, like where no one can see it. As long as it's not on your pecker. I mean, the only thing I could say I didn't care for was there's this guy on here that they give a little bit of time to, and I thought it was not worth it. This guy named David the Rock Nelson, who's, oh, he's the Ed Wood of the 90s, or he's the Ed Wood of the 21st century. Just makes these absolutely shitty, horrible shot on video films. Like, really horrible, like, literally they cost 10 cents. And he got a spot at the Alamo Draft House, and they invited him. And the guy just seems like a kooky dude, a weird dude. I know I shouldn't be making fun of people. I'm weird as well. I just go, why do you give this guy, an interview and showing his films, and he got to be at the Alamo Draft House, and I'm like, uh, you know, I didn't care for him. I didn't care for the little clips from his movies. I know it's so bad, it's laughable, but at the same time, I wasn't laughing either. David the Rod Nelson, and it's like, why is this guy on here? This guy, I just didn't care for that guy. That's really my only gripe with this. I didn't care for that guy. He's in there for a couple minutes, like 5 minutes, and I'm like, that's 5 minutes that could have been on something else. That's 5 minutes that could have been on a dozen other things. That's just me. Hell, that's 5 minutes that you could put some of this other stuff that's on the extras. Put that on the actual feature. But other than that little thing, it's still 90 minutes. I really also love the fact they touch on this. That some people talk about how there's some stuff that's not out there on DVD or Blu-ray or whatever, that it's only out on VHS. And yeah, some people talk about how, the VHS, who knows how long the actual life factor is until that tape really starts starts fucking up and dematerializing, and it just doesn't work anymore. And how you have some filmmakers that they don't have a film print. The only copy of their film is a VHS tape. So, I mean, I could look over here, and I have some VHS tapes. Like, if I don't fuck up the camera, that little corner there, not much, but the reason is most of those are not on. Some of them you can get on DVD, but it's like I don't need them that badly on DVD. But a lot of them are stuff that's not on DVD. It's only on VHS. Like, if I look and I go, okay, like that Austin versus Bitman I said before, that's on DVD for 300 or some bucks. Or you get the VHS tape a lot. That I have that on VHS, but the DVD's too expensive. Deep Space with Charles Napier, that's not on DVD. Time Bomb with Michael Biehn, I don't know if that's on DVD. Maybe it is, maybe it's not, I don't know. The making of the Ninja Turtles behind the shelves. That's a making of when the second film came out. They talk about the making of the first film and the second, more of the second film. the making of called Behind the Shells. That's only on VHS. Well, other than YouTube, but well, they also talk about YouTube as well and how in the age where now you can find anything, and that's sort of how the video stores were going down, and they don't touch tremendously on the video stores closing down. They touch a little bit, but that's 5 minutes that they could put in that than David the Rock Nelson. But I don't mean to harp on the guy too much, but still. But okay, Crying Freeman with Martha Costos, Monolith, Bill Paxton. Some of these you might have DVD overseas, but I'm just talking about like they're not. It's not like Bullet to Head with Stallone. Like you do find it everywhere and stuff. But Moontrap, Walter Kane and Bruce Campbell. That's not on DVD. That's only on VHS. The Unnameable. The sequel's on DVD, but the first film, The Unnameable, not on DVD. Maybe overseas, if you're lucky. But the first film, The Unnameable, as far as I know, you're not gonna find on DVD here in the U.S. And that's what I mean. And I'm sure there's dozens and dozens of movies that are still out there that are going to be forgotten in the hands of time. And just because it hasn't been on a DVD or stuff doesn't mean it's a bad movie. Even stuff as weird as oh, there's this special that was aired back in the day. Because someone had good forthright to tape that on a VHS tape, now we can have it. Making of the horror films like Nightmare on Elm Street sequels or all sorts of other movies. Oh yeah, this was back in the day. Hell, the making of Missing in Action 2, which thankfully you can find on YouTube. Maybe if it didn't get taken down. That was never on it. They didn't put that on the DVD. But here, the making of a Chuck Norris film. Considering there's rarely any making of any Chuck Norris films, except maybe The Octagon and one other film that's part of that company. But I'm off track. But yeah, you get a lot of interesting. I like that they touched on that. I thought that was really cool, and how nowadays you have. Oh, they even touch on the bootleggers of VHS tapes and how this guy ran an ad and 1 week he got $500, another week he got $1,000. Then he quit his job and he just became a bootlegger. So I like that they touch on a lot of facets, and they even go overseas and like Japan and such, and talk about some of the stuff of the boom over there. I also like the fact they don't have too much of Lloyd Kaufman, because I've never been a fan of Lloyd Kaufman. They don't have too much of him, so I'm glad for that. Oh, you also have Jason Eisner, who directed Hobo with a Shotgun. He's interviewed there, talks about his love of VHS, and just a lot of stuff. Like, for example, when you see fuzz on a VHS, a lot of times that could be because that was the part that people rewound over and over and over again. So they saw that part, whether it be maybe a nudity or a bloody shot or bloody sequence, sex scene, they did over and over again. Or about how you tape a copy to give a person, then they make a copy, give a person, how it quality decreases. Just a lot of stuff. It's really well done, well handled. It's 90 minutes, a lot of information. It's very entertaining. And for extra features, you did a commentary with the director, Josh Johnson, producer, Carolee Mitchell, cinematographer, editor, Christopher Palmer. Um, I'm looking here because they don't show all the features on there, but I have it listed on the DVD menu. I have the DVD menu pulled up. I don't want to give everything away in the documentary for you guys so you guys can check it out. But the extras, you have animations. That's pretty much when they were going to when they were doing the documentary, they were just going to put in like little animations, kind of like cartoons, I believe from one scene to another, but they cut out because it didn't work with the pacing. Artwork, they touched on that in the documentary as well, which I love. And I need to have at least an example of how long they are. Like they touch on the documentary about how VHS artwork, and I agree, VHS artwork is so much better. And they even mention about how nowadays it's just this really shitty Photoshop, But back in the day, a lot of times you'd find bad movies with great cover art, and how a lot of times the best cover art is for the shittiest movies. And they have another 12-minute feature that tells about the artwork as well. So they touch on the documentary, but it's also on the extras. That's for 12 minutes. Everything is terrible, which that's a website. This is about 5 minutes of them in Austin, Texas. Uh, I guess building a shrine to Jerry Maguire because there's so many Jerry Maguire VHS tapes out there. Very strange. Hunting for VHS, which is about 7 minutes long. Pretty much like it says. Again, they should have got my friend Mike OCP. And this one too, Laserdisc. There's a feature on Laserdisc. It's about 5.5 minutes. You have a music video, Where I Came from Bijula. Probably said that wrong. You have one called Nostalgia, which is 6 minutes long. And yeah, really enough, that actually has a woman with a Darkman, not poster, but you know how VHS stores has those three-dimensional standees? This woman has a three-dimensional standee of Darkman, like the VHS cover, like he's standing there like a badass. She actually has like a three-dimensional like standee of the poster of Darkman. I'm like, that's my kind of lady. Uh, let alone being a VHS collector. Ownership, 5 minutes. Like, when it's put out there, do we really own it? You guys look for yourself. This is really a must buy. This is a must buy for anyone, and can't thank my friend Efree enough for this. Physical versus digital media, 8 minutes long, so even more of that talk. Remix culture, which is extended. This is about 2 minutes. This is kind of like with that everything is terrible, that website guy. The rental industry, I was talking about that. This goes on for 11 minutes. And, that could have been instead of David Rotten Nelson, you could have had that in there. The Return of VHS, that's about 7 minutes long. Sort of like a little bit of the boom, how, a lot of people, there's still a lot of people who collect. I mean, even on YouTube, how many times on YouTube do you have someone, show their VHS collection? Look what I picked up on VHS. Just to collect. Great artwork. See, I always think there should have been, or there should be a book that has just pictures of VHS covers. Like there should be a book from A to Z. If you want to simplify with, okay, let me just do A to Z on horror, A to Z on action, of VHS covers. Because a lot of those VHS covers are great. And granted, a lot of them are better than the movie itself, but you get a lot of beautiful VHS covers that you watch, go, holy shit, there's like, wait a minute, none of that's in the movie. And granted, none of it's in the movie, but you have one called Shot on Video, which is about over 9 minutes long. Stickers, which is about 3.5 minutes long. VHS Day, just a couple of friends who get together and they have a VHS Day. It's about 3 minutes long. And in Video Panic, that's about what's that? Overseas, when it was that oh video nasties, about the video nasty stuff, the VHS video nasties. That's about 8.5 minutes long. That's why it's called Video Panic. So yeah, I gone on for about half hour on this, but I really suggest. I mean, this is what it says on IMDb. Home video changed the world. The cultural and historical impact of the VHS tape was enormous. The film traces the ripples of that impact by examining the myriad of aspects of society that were altered by the creation of videotape. Really glad that they made this. Really good stuff. I think there's another one that's only on VHS collectors. which I don't know what that is. I don't know. Adjust Your Tracking, The Untold Story of the VHS Collector. I don't know about what that's about, really. The Adjust Your Tracking. I guess it's just, again, interviews with VHS collectors, which I would not mind seeing anyway, either. I would not mind seeing that. I don't know if or whenever that's coming out. But uh, please rewind. Definitely worth your time. Highly, highly recommend this. I didn't want to give everything away, so you guys look for yourself on it. But still, really good. Really worth it. Worth your money. Worth your time. Can't praise it enough. Rewind this. Definitely check it out. So, thanks for watching. Take care. And remember, please rewind.